Hi guys, today was a very busy day for me. I worked heavily on Xland, the Xland Bible that I am pitching to all of the studios for a series show, and I worked on some episodes of The Liberal Conservative. And as I was doing that, in my research, I often watch a lot of social media. And unfortunately, I was privy to some really horrific videos of ICE agents, 1099 contractors, or bounty hunters, whoever they are, masked men, basically arresting and harassing innocent people in our country just because they're profiling them because they're Spanish. So I had this really important thought. And I'm not going to make this into an episode. It's just a little bonus that I'm going to put on my website this week for you guys to hear. It's an interesting concept and one that we've been hearing a lot lately, which is that are we living in a simulation? And so I think that whether we are or we're not is kind of not relevant, because in some level we definitely are, and the simulation is real and fear is the feed, right? We keep hearing that that fear mongering is what gets people disenfranchised, and it gets people scared, and it gets people not thinking about their maximum potential because they're stuck in this fear circle. So again, we're going to talk about that right now really quick. You're listening to the Liberal Conservative Podcast, and I'm your host, Judy. So let's talk about where truth breaks through the illusion. I want to go deeper. That is Oreo that you're hearing barking there or making that sound, my black lab. I want to go deeper beyond the politics and beyond the headlines, into the matrix of your mind. Because the simulation is not out there. It's what you feed it. It's the fear that you are intaking on a regular basis because of all of the horrible things that are happening in the world. So reality is not fixed. It's programmed. What we focus on is what multiplies. The algorithm is not just digital, it's energetic. So when you consume fear on a constant basis, you're going to recreate fear in your own sphere. So TikTok, the news, Instagram, Facebook, Meta, Substack, podcasts, anything that you are intaking, these are all mirrors. Well, and also even if it's good stuff, right? It's mirrors, and it's going to trap you in whatever it is that you're intaking. So for the oppressor, fear is the currency. So ICE arrest, police brutality, right-wing threats, these are all real. That's not a simulation. These are all happening. But consuming them nonstop does not protect you. It paralyzes you. It pays the system, literally. Every view feeds their fire. So Donald Trump survives on attention. The system survives on attention, and it survives on your reaction. So what we need to do is starve the system of attention and reaction, and it collapses, literally. And the reality is built in real time. So what you speak, think, and believe, it manifests. Joy, sovereignty, resistance, peace, protests all require presence, not endless doom scrolling. If you're watching ICE abuse a neighbor in real time, that is when you act. That is what you can consume. That is when you record it. That is when you talk about it. If you're watching it on a loop from your bed, log off. That is not giving you anything. Don't get hypnotized by secondhand trauma. Your nervous system is your interface, and you have to guard it, especially now, especially in times of duress. And on the flip side, what we have to do is make them irrelevant. Turn their weapon back on them. Deplatform the oppressors by ignoring them. Create content that heals, builds, and uplifts. Talk about solutions, not just crisis. Protect your energy, protect your mind, protect your neighbors, and protect your joy. So it was very important for me to do this because as I do research, sometimes I find myself getting really wrapped up in all of the horrific images that I'm seeing in particularly marginalized communities and blue states. I'm not seeing much action in Texas or Arkansas or Kentucky or Alabama. These things are happening mostly in blue cities. And additionally, it's very important to note that the people that are being arrested for the most part may be illegal immigrants. Like it is very possible that they don't have papers, but they're definitely not criminals. The actual criminals are still walking our streets because these ICE agents and the Donald Trump administration in general is really not going after criminals like they're telling you, right? Because the criminals are in fact going to fight back. You have to really understand that concept. If they're actually going after criminals, they have to be very heavily armed and very heavily protected because criminals most likely have firearms and they're going to fight back. They're going after innocent people just coming to this country to try to better themselves and better their families. So that's really kind of atrocious. But I was finding myself getting caught up in the loop of that horrific fact. And finally, I said, all right, I have to step out of this loop and I have to stay focused on being a productive person, a productive citizen, productive for my family, etc., right? So don't become your own prisoner, your own programmer. And if of bad things, your own programmer of bad things, because you are your own programmer, but you have to program yourself for joy and happiness. Fear wants your attention. Don't give it freely. Curate your world. Reject the false idols. Refuse to be baited. Make your feed sacred and make fascism irrelevant.